מזמור לדוד, אדוני רואי לא יחסר, בנוטש ירביצני, על מי מנוחות ינהלני. נפשי ישובב, ינחני במעגלי צדק, למען שמו. גם כי אלך בגיא צל מוות, לא ירא רע, כי אתה עמדי. שבטך ומשענתך המה ינחמוני. תערוך לפני שולחן נגד צורריי. דשנת ושמר ראשי, כוסי רוויה. אך טוב וחסד ירדפוני כל ימי חיי, ושבתי בבית אדוני לאורך ימים.
A Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runs over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Adonai natan v'Adonai lakach, Yishem Adonai mevarach. The Lord has given, the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. We're gathered together today to express our deep abiding love, to celebrate the life, and express our great admiration and honor to our dear beloved Barbara Price, who this week was taken from us. Our hearts are heavy with grief. It is hard to comprehend that she is gone, because she was such a vibrant presence in your lives, the life of all the family, and the life of her friends. And it was a life cut too short. But at the same time, it was a life that was full of joy and accomplishment and energy and celebration, and most of all, with an extraordinary amount of love for all of you, her family who she lived for, who formed the center of her being, and in whom she found such extraordinary pride. We gather together to remember the gifts of Barbara's life, to celebrate her, and to seek comfort from memory. I'd like first to call upon Michael, and my understanding is that Liz and Tim are going to come up, correct? To all stand together.
Hello. Two words come to mind when I think of my mother: grit and love. She was tough. She was 5'0". She was 100 and nothing pounds, and she was one of the toughest human beings I've known. She went through the 3 bouts of cancer, 4 times through chemo, the spinal surgery, the gastroparesis, the stem cell replacement, all in 20 years. And, you know, her end goal was love. And that was to love her children and her grandchildren, and to be with us and with them and support and do whatever she could. And that's really all I have to say.
So the last few days, we've done a lot of research, going through Mom's various pictures and notes, letters she kept, and today I wanted to read to you something that I wrote to my mother 25 years ago. It was a birthday of hers. She was, I'm not sure the exact date, but she was in her late 40s. I was in my early 20s. And so here's her birthday card. Mom, I wish you a happy birthday and many more to follow. I'm really writing you this because it's important to me that you really know how much I appreciate and look up to you. You're the person that I turn to when I need advice, a confidence boost, some quick analyzing, or an ear to just listen to me and my problems. The more I get to know you and see you from an objective point of view, the stronger my feelings for you grow. It makes me very happy to know that you found happiness. Happiness. The more I look out in the world for something better, the more I realize how special my family is and how fortunate I am. I really just want you to know how true these words are. The ending's so tough.
I really just want you to know how true these words are and how much I love you. Happy birthday, Mommy. Love and sincerity, Michael.
Sorry, one other comment. So I wrote this 25 years ago, and one of the reasons that I wanted to share it is because her birthday was yesterday, and I would have given her the same card. Thanks.
Tim and Michael, what really beautiful words from the heart. And your words touch all of us very deeply. And Laura shared something for me to read also at the end, which I'll come back to before I close. There's a very beautiful rabbinic legend. The story of how once God gave an angel a task. Go down to earth and bring back to me the 3 things that are most beautiful in the world. The angel came down to earth, circled the globe, searching from city to city and village to village and house to house to find that most beautiful of things. The angel came upon a flower garden and saw a rose. And thinking it divinely beautiful, the angel brought the rose to heaven. Then the angel returned to earth, and searching again, the baby passed by the window of a home and heard the sound of a baby giggling and smiling, and brought the baby's smile to heaven. The angel returned to earth for the 3rd time, seeking out what it is that could be the most beautiful of all. And the angel searched high and low in every corner, until finally coming upon a home and looking in on the family. The angel saw a mother devotedly going about her business, taking care of her children, sacrificing of herself for their well-being, putting her whole soul into them and their care. And the angel thought, truly this is the most beautiful thing of all, the love of a mother. And the angel took the mother's love to heaven. There truly is nothing as beautiful, as sacred as the love of a mother for her children. And Barbara was such a mother who lived for each of you, who loved you each so deeply, who poured her whole being into you in that intense way that she had, focusing on that which she wanted to accomplish. And nothing could stand in her way. What she wanted to accomplish was to raise each of you to be the extraordinary mention that you are, to instill in you the values that she held dear, to instill in you a love of family, to instill in you a loving and caring heart, to instill in you a love of Jewish tradition, and most of all, to instill in you that same love of family so you would pass that on and be the same kind of parents to your own children. And indeed, you all are. And embody all those extraordinary qualities. Barbara was a loving, devoted mother to you, Michael and Kristen, to you, Liz and Boaz, and to you, Tim and Laura. And a loving, proud grandmother to you, Oliver, Charles, Jack, Evan, Noah, Nolan, and London. And a loving sister to you, Cheryl. And a loving aunt to you, Alexis and Michael, Dana and Andy, and Hallie. Barbara was truly an extraordinary mother. Warm and affectionate, accepting and open, down to earth. She always accepted you and supported you for who you were and always supported all your dreams, no matter what they were and no matter whether she understood them. If it was important to you, it was important to her. She wanted you to fulfill yourself. Michael, you shared that she never really understood what you do for a living. And she kept asking you questions, trying to understand. But all she really cared about, the question she asked you most was, are you happy? Are you growing? And so it was for all three of you. And she was so proud of you and of all of your accomplishments and your families that you created. She was always there for you, always available, to love and support, to lift you up when you were down, to celebrate when you were up, to lend an ear and a shoulder, to guide and support and nurture. At every event, every program, she was there. And she was there to help solve every problem and every challenge. And she was so proud of you. So loving, so accepting, and so affirming when times were tough. She loved to talk about you. And also about your children, her grandchildren. And the three of you, she would talk about you like you were still children. She would tell stories that she remembered from your childhood as if it was yesterday. Michael, you shared one example, how she loved to talk about how you played strategy games and how she would ask you, what's the purpose of this character and this player, and you would explain to her. And you said that for a while you didn't quite understand why she was focusing on that story. You said, Mom, I was just a kid. But she said to you, well, you're the same way now. She saw that in each of you. She saw when you were young the qualities that would make you successful in life. And as you grew, she relished that. And she held on to those memories of when she first saw those qualities in each of you. It was her way of validating you and celebrating who you are. She was loved not only by each of you, but also by your friends. She was the cool mom. Tim, you shared that your Philly friends shared with you that she always treated them like they were adults, and they loved that. And Kristen, Boaz, and Laura, how she loved you as her own children, how fully she embraced you. You brought her so much joy, and she gave to you the same incredible love and support and pride, treating you fully as her own. And you, the grandchildren, I know how much you loved your BB, as you called her. And she was so extraordinarily proud of each and every one of you. You were the jewels in her crown. She loved sharing pictures about you, sharing pictures of you, and talking about you, and bragging about you, and she loved every opportunity she had to be with you. In fact, Evan, when you were born, I understand that she was upset that she couldn't be in the room for your birth. But she came to visit not long afterward and stayed a long time. Liz, you said she was like a second mother. And she was, for all of you, not just a grandmother with presents and visits and babysitting, and she did all those things too. She was also there for all the hard stuff. Evan, you loved BB's smile, and whenever you saw her, you would break out in laughter. She brought you such joy. She was so proud of you for your bat mitzvah. She talked about it a great deal as it was approaching. She talked about it to me every time I would see her. Though it was not possible in her usual indomitable, optimistic way, she told everyone she was going to be there. And she was there with you in spirit. I know she was. I know you felt her with you. And Noah, you two were very close with BB. Last February, you even jumped in bed with her when she was already not well. There was no distance between the two of you, just pure love. And so it was with all of you, with all the grandchildren. Always so excited to see BB. Sharing so many wonderful times and laughter together. And though the youngest of grandchildren don't have memories of BB from when she was well, I know that the older grandchildren are going to share their memories, and that your parents are going to share all of their stories, and that she's going to live in your lives and be a presence always, just as she was for your parents. Barbara was born March 12, 1944. As Michael said, she would have been 75 yesterday. She went to Wiley Junior High School and Cleveland Heights High School, and she always felt a strong attachment to Cleveland Heights. She had a very close circle of friends that went all the way back to junior high school. They called themselves the Wiley Crew. They remained friends her whole life, as did every other friend that she made, and she made lots because everyone she met became Barbara's friend, and she held on to them. Growing up, Barbara was very beautiful and smart and talented and very popular. Everybody loved her. She had this youthful look, younger than her age, and everybody who knows her knows that she maintained that youthful look her whole life. In fact, your father Tim shared that even at the age of 30 or 35, when they would go out, she was still getting carded. She was valedictorian of her high school class. She was this amazing person, as Cheryl put it, that had it all. She was a cheerleader in junior high school, and later in life she was a dancer for the Cavaliers for one day. She was already a mom. And after that experience, when all the girls gathered, she realized that maybe she didn't quite fit into their social scene. Cheryl, Barbara was 5 years older than you, which meant that you were never in the same school or with the same circle of friends growing up. It was when you were both married and raising children that that gap closed, and you became so incredibly close and bonded to each other. You were in the same stage of life. sharing together and raising a family. And during those years, the two of you shared so much together. Raising your kids together, talking always together, sharing in life's joys and challenges together. When I first came to town 18 years ago, and I believe, Cheryl, you were still living in town at that time, or at least in my mind you were. Maybe you were in Columbus, you were just here so often. I'm not sure which it was. All I know is that I always saw you two together. And the two of you share such wonderful childhood memories, including those wonderful vacations to Bedford Springs and to Canada and Niagara Falls. A bond that continued throughout your life. Barbara went off to Boston University, where she finished her bachelor's degree in only 3 years and began her first career as a teacher. She taught elementary school in Columbus, and then when she came to Cleveland, taught at a juvenile detention center. There, the kids loved her and were very protective of her. They called her Little Mama. Later, she went to work for your father, Tim, and she did very well there. In fact, so well there that beyond her professional success, the two of them met and fell in love and created this incredible family. And though they separated, they still maintain a relationship and together have nurtured this family. And the Marlows, all the Marlows have been a part of this family all these years and share a great deal of love. After Michael was born, Barbara stopped working and decided to devote herself fully to parenting. She poured herself into that job just as she did with her others, with singular focus and determination. And she was involved in every aspect of your lives growing up. Your mom did also volunteer a lot. She believed in giving back. She was a Cub Scout mom for you, Michael. She was involved in Friends of the Orange Library and many community organizations, and of course in synagogue. Later, after Barbara and Tim divorced, she went back to school at Case and received her master's in social work, thus beginning her second and longest career in mental health. She worked at Huron Road Hospital as an adult psychiatric social worker, and also at Southwest Healthcare Nursing Home. And in Philly, she also worked in her field. And then later here at Jewish Family Service. When she came back to Cleveland from Philly, she even maintained some of her clients from Philadelphia who would call her to talk to her and be counseled over the phone. She retired just a couple of years ago. She dealt with family meetings and insurance coverage and many patients ranging from abused children to battered women to the elderly, to those with alcohol or drug dependency, those with depression or bipolar or schizophrenia. She counseled, offered support, helped them navigate their lives, sorted out their coverage. She was very devoted to her work and to her clients. At Jewish Family Service, she would even take them out for a meal or take them bowling. And when you asked her why, she would say, because they don't have anybody else. This was not just a job to Barbara. She took these people into her heart. That's just the kind of person she was. So much love to give to everybody around her. She always remained involved in synagogue. Her parents, your Babu and Papa, Norman and Sylvia, were fixtures at B'nai Yeshurun congregation. There forever. Every Shabbat morning, every festival, every program. Always coming to shul dapper and dressed elegantly to the nines. Always very proper. Always immersed in prayer. Tradition was very important in the home that you, Cheryl, and your sister Barbara grew up in. You were taught a love of Torah, a love of synagogue, a love of the Jewish people, a love of Israel. And those values live in you, and they lived in Barbara, and she passed them on to you, her children. In the years that Barbara was at B'nai Yeshurun, she was very involved in the congregation, coming regularly to Shabbat services, involved in our Tikkun Leil Shavuot, sometimes coming to our Starbucks Bread and Torah, often coming to other programs. And she was good friends with myself and the cantor and Rabbi Ruth and Luria, your grandparents had a tradition of a close relationship with the rabbis and cantors of the congregation that goes back long before I was ever here. They continued that with the three of us, newcomers, and she continued that as well. And she had so many wonderful friends in the congregation and in the community. She viewed Bnei Yeshurun as a home. And when she left and returned, she was so excited to be back. In many ways, Barbara had a tremendously hard life with many, many health challenges over the past 20 years, as Michael already alluded to. And I have to pause for a moment and say, Barbara, I apologize to you, because I know you would not want me to talk about this, because you never focused on your struggle. You focused on life. You focused on your family. You focused on community. You filled your life with joy. But we have to talk about it, because in the way that Barbara lived her life, she set a model for all of us, and most especially for you, her family. Cancer 3 times. First breast cancer back in 1998 or 99. That was also in her lymph nodes. And with treatment, the doctors gave her maybe 2 years to live. She lived 20. She had a double mastectomy, and that same week, she also had a tooth pulled and she got a flat tire. And Liz shared this story on Facebook and shared it with me, and it's a little bit not language I normally use in a eulogy. But I have to share it because it's so beautiful and just expresses Barbara's grit and determination and her humor, so you'll forgive me. She said, all in 1 week, I lost a tooth, a tire, and a tit. That was definitely Barbara. And then in 2008 or 2009, she was diagnosed with lymphoma. And then later, the breast cancer returned again. She fought against it year after year after year. She went through, as was said earlier, 4 different chemos. She never let it hold her back. She still had this extraordinary, full, active career in which she served community and helped so many people in their lives. She still devoted herself fully to each of you, her children and her grandchildren, to you, Cheryl, her sister, to your families. She still filled her life with joy and optimism and excitement and blessing and celebration. She never let it define her. Through it all, she was strong. She never wavered. She never lost hope. She never let it dominate her life. She set an example in how to deal with adversity. She knew she could not control the outcome, and she accepted that. But she knew what she could control was the attitude that she brought to it, what you do with it. And she brought courage, optimism, determination, and hope. She brought a focus on life, on celebration. Through all her struggle with cancer, she continued to travel, to work, to be with all of you, to be in synagogue, to be part of community, to live and to give and to love and to celebrate. Of all the things that were beautiful and amazing about Barbara, that was the most amazing and the most inspiring of all. Barbara was a strong woman, like your Babu was. She was tough. She never complained. She was always smiling. An optimist, full of hope, who never said I can't and always said I will again. She was a great listener. She loved to listen, loved to hear how people were connected, loved hearing their stories, and she had a great memory. And she would always share all those connections and stories with others. In fact, by the way, her memory was so good that, and she was a very sharp dresser, just like her mother was. And when she would buy clothing, 15 years later, Cheryl tells me, that she was able to say to you, oh, I bought this in this year, at this store, at this price. She always had a lot going on, driven and highly motivated with a great work ethic, a passionate parent focused on her children, for whom family was of utmost importance. And all of these qualities can be seen in you, her family. How she loved to come over and see the grandchildren, to sleep over on a couch or a chair. She was so small she could sleep anywhere. So many wonderful memories. She could be quirky at sometimes. Her mind moved faster than her body. Once, Alexis, you got in her car, and when you turned it on, hip-hop music came blaring out of the speakers. You were a little startled, and you asked her about it, and she said, yes, that wakes me up. Liz, you shared that when you and Boaz and your family were in Israel, she would visit 3 to 4 times a year. Also sleeping there on that uncomfortable couch, she never minded. Everyone in Israel knew her, not just your friends, but people at your work and in the neighborhood. Everyone spoke Hebrew. She would just smile and go along. Once you were living on the Moshav. She went to the Makrola to buy eggs, and no one there spoke English. That didn't faze her at all. She pantomimed what she needed, and she got it. Another time when you lived in Tel Aviv, and she would join you for coffee, come with you to work, have lunch with you, and then she would just wander around Tel Aviv by herself. She was very independent. And Michael, you shared memories of Thanksgiving, how when you were growing up, she would get up at 5 a.m. in the morning to begin the job of preparing for the holiday. And by the time you came downstairs, the whole house was filled with the smells of her food, those wonderful smells. And then you would talk with your mom, and she would talk about life, about people coming to dinner, about events in their lives, about current events of the day. Precious times shared. So many beautiful memories. Such an extraordinary life. So much love that she gave you. So many lessons that she taught you by her example. All of which you embody in your own lives. And that in the end stands as the greatest testament to your mother. The values each of you hold dear. The way you raise your children. Your commitment to family. The love that you give. An extension of the love she gave to you. I want to end by reading 2 poems. And Liz gave these to me and asked me if I would read them. And the first is a poem by Robert Frost that Barbara loved very much. The second is a poem by an anonymous author that was used once in a TV production and that she also held very dear and carried with her. The poem by Robert Frost is Nothing Gold Can Stay. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold, her early leaves a flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf as Eden sank to grief. As dawn turns into day, nothing gold can stay. And the second poem. Do not stand at my grave and weep. I am not there. I do not sleep. I am 1,000 winds that blow. I am the diamond glints on snow. I am the sunlight on ripened grain. I am the gentle autumn's rain. When you awaken in the morning's hush, I am the swift, uplifting rush of quiet birds in circled flight. I am the soft star that shines at night. Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die. Truly, Barbara did not die. She lives on in each of you. And I know that you will always feel her presence. May her memory be for a blessing. And we say together, Amen. We rise now for the memorial prayer.
אל מלא רחמים, שוכן במרומים, המצא מנוחה נכונה תחת כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים וטהורים, כזוהר הרקיע מזהירים, נשמת ברכה בצימה ונחום, שהלכה לעולמה, בגן עדן תהי מנוחתם. אנא בעל הרחמים, הסתיריה בצדק כנפיך לעולמים, וצרור וצרור לחיים ונשמתם, אדוני הוא נחלתם, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר אמן.
Exalted, compassionate God, we pray that you grant infinite rest in your sheltering presence among the holy and pure, to the soul of our beloved Barbara Price, who has gone to her eternal home. O merciful one, we ask that she find perfect peace in your eternal embrace. May her soul be bound up in the bond of eternal life. May the Lord be her portion. May she rest in peace. And we say together, Amen. Interment will follow at Mount Olive Cemetery, after which the family will be gathering at 11365 Normandy Lane in Chagrin Falls. I just want to make a note for those who are planning to go to the Shiva House. The family tells me that if you seek to put the address into a GPS, you need to put the neighbor's address, which is 11375. The house is 11365 Normandy, but for the GPS, use 11375 Normandy Lane, Chagrin Falls. The family will be receiving visitors following services until 4 p.m. and then from 6 to 8 p.m. this evening. Tomorrow, 1 to 4 p.m. and 6 to 8 p.m. and Friday, 1 to 4 p.m. Friends who wish may contribute to the B'nai Yeshurun congregation or the Jewish Family Service Association.